Hi everyone, this is Alejandro Cremades, and today we're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts when creating a pitch deck. So before we get started, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and this way you will never miss out on any of the videos that we roll out every week. So if you're even thinking about raising money, you're going to need a pitch deck. You're going to need to really capture the essence of what you're doing in 15 to 25 slides, depending, right? Now, here's the thing. There's many things, there's many issues, many problems, many pitfalls that you want to really avoid so that you can get that excitement on the other side of the table, so that that investor gives you the money, jumps on board, wants to help you in investing in you, investing in your company, and helping you to build a business. And really in today's video, we're gonna break down what are the do's and what are the don'ts so that you're able to have a better path and really understand how to guide yourself through what's in front of you. So with that being said, let's get into it. So starting with the do's, you want to keep it super clean. You really here want to keep that balance between the text and the visuals, because I can't stress enough how many times I've seen a pitch deck and then I review it and it's like you need to read it, you need to spend time per slide, and investors don't have time to go through stuff. So you cannot literally give the stuff to them to figure it out. You need to hand hold them. And that's why having that nice balance between visuals and text is going to allow them to really skim through the presentation much quicker. Typically, investors remember that they're going to be investing about 2 minutes and 41 seconds. And by the way, below is a pitch deck template that you can use to really get started. And that's something that founders are using around the world to raise millions. Again, remember, it's all about keeping the balance and perhaps bringing in a designer to really polish a little bit more on the visual side is something that may pay off. You also want to focus on your most important slides. Here's the thing, you're not going to be able to really nail it on every single slide. There's always going to be goods and there's always going to be bads, on some of those slides. But here's the thing, when you're especially really dealing with investors, you're going to also need to get good at perhaps taking the temperature of the room, really understanding and not leaving a single question unturned. Because remember that those questions that are in between you and perhaps the money is really what's going to forbid you from really closing the round. So always, always, always make sure that you're asking if there's any questions if you are on the financial slide, which is the number one slide where investors spend the most amount of time, and then also on the team slide, because remember that at an early stage, especially, the investor is investing in you, is investing in your team, is investing in helping you to build a business. So make sure that they don't have any questions around your background, your capabilities, your previous accomplishments, either yours or perhaps your team's. Also, you want to talk about the market size. So those are the 3 key areas that you want to really be completely sure that there's absolutely no questions and that you've really nailed it on your pitch deck in terms of really putting those slides together. This is the thing. A lot of people can talk, but not a lot of people can do the walk. So you want to do both. You want to grab a KPI, you want to grab a metric that you've really exceeded at, and you want to put it in that presentation and really show that investor that over the course of time that is growing, that there is progress, that they're going to be investing in something that is moving in the right direction, and that you're giving them ultimately that assurance. You want to show them what you're going to be using the money for. And do some research. I remember being part of certain presentations where perhaps the founder would come in to pitch, I would listen to the presentation, and then I see that on the use of proceeds, they say, no, this engineer, I'm in New York City and it's gonna cost me $30,000. And essentially it's not $30,000 what that is, because an engineer in New York is costing you $100,000 or even more nowadays. So always do your research. Come across in a way that shows that you've done your homework, that you've done the work ahead, that you know how you're going to be grabbing that money and putting it to work. Because if you're not able to really have an understanding on the money in and the money out, then the investor is going to be like, why would I give this entrepreneur my money? So don't make that mistake. Make sure that you got your numbers to the T. You also want to get feedback. You want to distribute this presentation, maybe team members, maybe advisors, maybe other people that you trust, family, friends, former classmates, because it's all about crowdsourcing that process. It's about really understanding what are some potential holes that you may have in your story and perhaps cover them by people that really care about you. Now, one thing that you could do is, rather than going to the investors that you really care about, maybe what you do is you go to the tier 2 or tier 3, get that as a practice run, get some of the feedback from them, and perhaps that's going to help you to uncover things that you didn't know was there. And essentially, once you're able to implement that, then you go to the actual investors that you care about. In terms of the don'ts of the pitch deck, the first one is not going too long. And that is whether you're really doing the pitch deck and you're going over 25 slides, when it becomes like reading a book kind of thing and people don't have the time for that, and certainly investors don't have the time for that. And then also when you are really missing the boat when it comes to listening. If you're presenting your pitch deck, for example, and the investor is asking you for the projections of year 1, you should not give them year 1 plus year 2 plus year 3 plus year 4. You need to be down to the point. If they're shooting you a tennis ball, give them a tennis ball. Don't shoot them back a basketball, a soccer ball, a tennis ball, everything in their mother to make sure that they get it. Avoid that mistake at all costs. Don't put anything in there that requires an NDA. Here you want to keep it super high level, you want to avoid any barrier, you want to avoid all this admin stuff of having them to negotiate, to take a look at an NDA, because really when you're at the early stages of those discussions, it's just for the most part getting to know each other. I hate when, for example, I see a founder, and I know that investors hate it too, when they say, hey, we'd love to get together, we'd love to chat, and then just for introduction, the founder says, hey, can we get an NDA in place? You're creating friction, you're putting hurdles. You shouldn't do that. So what I would highly recommend that you do is just keep it high level. Maybe the secret sauce is something that you remove and that you keep for once you've signed the NDA, maybe once you go into the due diligence process. But for the time being, during those initial interactions, just keep it super high level and really avoid putting in there an NDA so that you can really get that flow of information, that flow of the discussion, that flow of getting to know each other. Don't try to reinvent the pitch deck. I mean, this is another don't of the pitch deck, because the thing is that ultimately the investor is going to be used to a certain type of structure, to a certain type of flow when it comes to reviewing different stories of the different companies that are sending them pitch decks. So you always want to keep the standard format, and that's why you always want to keep really like if you take a look at the pitch deck template below, that's the type of structure that you want. It's like a problem, solution, market size. That's the way that you want to keep it, because that's the way that the investor is used to seeing things. Another don't is forgetting your contact information at the end on the thank you slide. I mean, you got to put even your cell phone if it's needed, because if there's an investor that is interested in calling you at 2 a.m. because they're interested in making a potential investment, you need to be right there on the spot, ready to pick up the phone and really discuss whatever concerns or whatever questions they have. So put in there your contact info, your title, everything, that even your email on that thank you slide. Also make sure that you hit a like on this video, subscribe to the channel so that you don't forget on checking those videos that we're rolling out every week. And then also, if you have anything that's going on, I would love to hear what you're up to on the comment section below. You could do that. And if you're raising money, you can reach out to me if you need help. Send me a note at alejandro@pantheraadvisors.com. Thank you so much for watching.